Carol Mitchell was 72 years old, a retired pediatric nurse from Nashville, Tennessee, eating lunch alone at her kitchen table on a Wednesday afternoon when a piece of bread lodged in her throat. She stood up, reached for her water, swallowed hard. The obstruction did not move. She was alone. Her phone was 8 feet away on the counter. Calling 911 requires speech she did not have. She had 60 seconds of clear thinking before her oxygen levels would begin dropping. She had been a nurse for 31 years and she knew exactly what that timeline looked like. And she had absolutely no idea what to do. Carol survived. But what she told me afterward is what made me make this video. She said, "I was a pediatric nurse for 31 years. I knew the Heimlich maneuver cold. And I had no idea what to do when I was the only one in the room." If Carol did not know, a trained medical professional with 3 decades of clinical experience, I have to assume you do not know either. And I have to assume someone you love does not know. That changes today. My name is Tom Bradley. Certified Senior Safety Instructor. 19 years. 14 states. Over 4,000 seniors trained in emergency self-rescue. And the single most common question I get asked, in parking lots after every class I have ever taught, because it is never in my official curriculum, is this. What do I do if I choke and there is nobody there? Today I am answering that question properly. With a technique called the solo bridge. 2 options, 5 steps, 20 seconds to execute. Medically validated and designed specifically for adults over 60. Stay with me because I am going to explain every step with clear illustrations so your body does not just hear this, it sees it. That is the difference between information and something you can actually use under pressure. And if this channel is where you want to keep getting information like this, the techniques that belong in every senior safety class but somehow never make it there, subscribe right now and turn on the notification bell. Every week we deliver exactly this. Now let me give you the technique. Before the technique, you need to understand one thing. Why choking is more dangerous after 60 than most people realize. 3 reasons. First, swallowing is muscular. Over 30 muscles work in coordinated sequence every time you swallow. Those muscles are affected by the same age-related muscle loss that weakens your legs and your grip. The swallow becomes less forceful. The throat's ability to clear an obstruction naturally is reduced. Second, saliva production decreases with age, and most medications taken by adults over 60 make it worse. Blood pressure medications, antidepressants, antihistamines, dry mouth as a side effect is on almost every label. Less saliva means drier food, denser bites, higher risk. Third, reaction time. The window between noticing something feels wrong and recognizing you are in a choking emergency is shorter after 60. By the time the brain fully registers the situation, the easiest intervention window has sometimes already closed. Think of your throat as a highway with fewer lanes and a reduced speed limit than it had at 40. The same bite you have taken 1,000 times now creates a bottleneck it would have cleared without a thought 2 decades ago. The road did not break. The capacity changed. And nobody told you. Now. The solo bridge. 2 options. Learn both. The forced cough. 3 seconds. Do this first. Every time. The moment you recognize an obstruction, before you move, before you find a chair, before anything else, open your mouth wide and deliver one single maximal forced cough. Not a throat clear. A full-body explosive cough from the deepest part of your chest. Your diaphragm, the dome-shaped muscle sitting just below your lungs, contracts sharply downward. This compresses the lungs from below. The compressed air has only one exit, upward through the trachea, through the throat, out through the open mouth. That column of air is your first weapon. In partial obstructions, which are the most common type, one forced cough is frequently enough to dislodge the object. It costs 3 seconds. Use it every time. If one forced cough does not clear it, move immediately to option A. Option A, the chair back thrust. Primary technique. Use this first. Find any sturdy chair with a solid fixed back rail. Kitchen chair. Dining chair. Any chair with a horizontal bar across the top of the back. That rail replaces a partner's fist. Same physics as the bystander Heimlich. You are driving your body into it instead of someone driving their fists into you. Finding your target zone. This is the most important step in the entire protocol. Before you approach the chair, find the correct zone on your own body. Place one hand flat on your abdomen. Find your sternum, the flat bone running down the center of your chest. Run your finger to the very bottom tip of your sternum. Feel that small soft protrusion at the base of your breastbone. That is your xiphoid process. Move 2 finger widths directly below that point. That soft fleshy area, between the base of your sternum and your navel, is your target zone. Not on your ribs. Not on your lower stomach. Exactly 2 finger widths below the xiphoid process. Put your finger there right now. Feel it. Remember it. That is the point that must contact the chair rail. The thrust. Stand behind the chair. Step close enough that the top rail aligns with your target zone. If the rail is too high, bend your knees slightly. If too low, rise onto your toes. The alignment must be correct or the thrust generates pressure in the wrong direction. Now, lean your upper body forward over the chair back and drive your abdomen sharply downward onto the rail in one sudden controlled movement. Not a slow press. A sharp sudden downward drive, as if folding your body over the rail in a single fast motion. What happens inside? Picture a cross-section of your torso. The chair rail contacts the abdomen at the target zone. Your body drives downward. The abdominal organs compress inward and upward. This pushes the diaphragm upward. The diaphragm pushes the base of the lungs upward. The lungs compress. Air is forced upward through the trachea at high velocity. That air column hits the obstruction from below and drives it out. Downward force on the abdomen becomes upward pressure through the airway. The chair rail is the fulcrum. Your body weight is the force. The obstruction is what moves. Deliver one thrust. Assess. Repeat up to 5 times if needed. Between thrusts, stay calm. Deliberate. Panic destroys mechanics. If 5 thrusts do not clear it, move to option B. Option B, the floor self-thrust. Backup technique. Use when no chair is available or you are losing strength. Get to the floor safely. Do not fall. Lower yourself intentionally. Both hands on a counter or wall. Bend your knees. Lower to kneeling. Roll to one side. Roll onto your back. Knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Hand position. Make a fist with your dominant hand. Place the thumb side of that fist against your target zone, 2 finger widths below the xiphoid process. Thumb side in, not knuckle side. The bony ridge concentrates force at the correct point. Place your other hand flat over your fist, covering it completely. Both hands stacked. Ready. The thrust direction. The thrust is not straight down toward the floor. It is inward and upward, at a 45-degree angle toward the center of your chest. Imagine a line from your target zone angling upward toward your heart. That is your direction. In one sharp movement, drive both hands inward and upward along that line. Sudden. Controlled. As if driving your fist toward your spine and upward simultaneously. The abdominal organs compress. The diaphragm is pushed upward. Air is forced through the airway. Same mechanism as option A, your fist and the floor have replaced the chair rail. Up to 5 thrusts. Deliberate between each one. The complete sequence, memorize this. 1. Forced cough. Mouth wide. 1 explosive cough. 3 seconds. If resolved, done. If not, proceed. 2. Find target zone. 2 finger widths below the xiphoid process. Soft upper abdomen. Find it now on your own body. 3. Option A, nearest sturdy chair. Rail aligned with target zone. Sharp downward drive. Up to 5 thrusts. 4. Option B, floor. Back down, knees bent. Dominant fist on target zone, thumb side in. Non-dominant hand covering. Drive inward and upward at 45 degrees. Up to 5 thrusts. 5. Stay deliberate between every attempt. Panic is the enemy of mechanics. That is the solo bridge. Forced cough. Chair thrust. Floor thrust. In that order. Every time. Now let me finish Carol's story. 45 seconds into the obstruction, standing in her kitchen with the noon news still on low, Carol looked around the way a person looks for something they cannot name. And her eyes found the chair. She did not know the solo bridge by name. She had seen a fragment of something once, a brief mention somewhere, that had stayed in her memory the way the bread had stayed in her throat. She moved to the chair. She found the position. She drove forward. First thrust. Still blocked. Second thrust. Still blocked. Third thrust. The obstruction cleared. She stood in her kitchen breathing, both hands on the back of the chair, the noon news still playing, her tea still on the table. Everything exactly as she had left it. Except that nothing felt ordinary at all. She stood there for a long time. Then she sat down. And she thought about every single person she knew who ate alone. 3 weeks later Carol stood at the front of her church fellowship hall in front of 23 people she had known for years and taught them every step of what I just taught you. With a folding chair and nothing else. When someone laughed because option A looks a little undignified, Carol said, "I know exactly how it looks. I looked exactly like this in my own kitchen 3 weeks ago. And I am standing here today because of it." Before you close this video, stand up right now, walk to the nearest sturdy chair in your home, find your target zone with your finger, and do one single slow gentle practice movement with 0 force. Not to practice the force. To practice the position. So your body knows where to go before it needs to go there. One time. Before your next meal. Then think of one person who eats alone or lives alone and send them this video today. Not this week. Today. Because you do not know what they are having for lunch tomorrow. Drop your name and your state in the comments. Tell me one person you are sending this to. I read every comment. Every name in those comments is a person who is safer today than they were this morning. And if this is the kind of information you have been looking for, practical, specific, straight to the point, the kind that should have been in every safety class you ever attended, this channel is where it lives every single week. Subscribe now. Turn on the notification bell. The people who stay with this channel are the people who refuse to be unprepared. Who show up for their own safety before they need to. You just proved that is exactly who you are. Take care of yourselves. Teach someone else what you learned today.